a lunch. Some of you got a bit of sunshine out there. We've ordered the sunshine throughout the rest of today. And we've got a beautiful terrace for the cocktails later, so please be prompt for the rest of the day because I get particularly agitated when we start to have the program drift into cocktail time. So let's make sure we keep it prompt this afternoon. Thank you so much. Now, as a reminder, today is all about bringing the external world into the business school environment. We started talking about pedagogies and how we need to respond in the context of the changing landscape. And now this afternoon, we're turning our attention to, I'm sure, a subject matter that is on the front of most of our minds, and that is all about how we should be connecting for climate impact. What is it we can all do as a collective prime community in order to influence this existential threat that we face from a humanitarian perspective. So we've got a great program pulled together in relation to that, and we're going to get some opening comments on that subject from a member of the Pride Board, Ajit Parolekar, and he is the director of the Center for Social Sensitivity and Action at the Goa Institute of Management. And I'm sure you're going to be fascinated by his opening remarks. So Ajit, please come on forward.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Trust you had a great lunch. Spot of sunshine. I continue to be in the spot of sunshine here. I'm Ajit Parulekar. I'm the director of the Goa Institute of Management and a proud member of the PRME board. The PRME community is well aware that climate change is easily the number one challenge that we face. Though climate change is quite well understood in many quarters, and it has been the center stage of a lot of global conversations. So whether it is COP, whether it is the World Economic Forum, whether it is Global Compact, whether it is PRME, and it's a lot of other organizations, some of them who are here. These conversations have happened, but I think one thing is quite clear, that climate change experts are unanimous that we are not doing enough. We're not doing enough, and therefore we are not going to be meeting the targets if things continue the way that they currently are. We won't be able to meet the emission targets, the emission reduction targets of the 43%. We wouldn't be able to, therefore, limit the rise in temperature to 1.5 degrees. And I think despite the geographic ubiquity of the impacts of climate change that everyone's experiencing anywhere, everywhere in the world, this somehow doesn't become the prime consideration in what we do at business school. This is a self-selected audience. I know that most of you are very passionate about it, but I don't think that's as much happening in business school as it should be. We are not doing enough, period. But I think as the inspirational Jane Goodall said this morning, though we are not doing enough, hope is not yet lost. There is still a window of time. And as she said, we don't know how long is that window of time, but I think it's time to take a little bit more action. And therefore reversing climate's current trajectory is urgent for us. Calls for a multi-pronged approach for business school, for all the other partners that business school has, for industry, of course. And we have a vital role to play in making sure that we are able to bridge that gap that we have in achieving reduction in emissions, and therefore also controlling what the UN Secretary General said close to a decade back, controlling the fever that the planet has. And we have to bring that down. It's therefore crucial that climate education leadership comes at the forefront, and we're able to find necessary solutions to make sure that at business school, I think we are able to bring this, mainstream this conversation on climate, and becomes important to a variety of different stakeholders, faculty and students being prime. So I thought, two major challenges and opportunities that face business school, and that's really what this session about connecting for climate impact is going to be. And one of them is mainstreaming the climate conversation in business school. So mainstreaming both in terms of academic research community, mainstreaming it in terms of making sure these young leaders that we are developing, they understand first the complexity and not the simple solutions. At the surface, things like EVs and solar cells and things like that, but understand the complexity, and also at the same time to make sure that they have the kind of wherewithal to take on these challenges. And I think it's important also that climate action, without disrupting development, especially in the lesser developed part of the world, this would require a lot more creativity and would require a lot more innovation. And the second thing is addressing the gap that's there in terms of education with respect to climate action. So not only do they need to understand, everyone knows about climate and the impact of climate, but understand what's the magnitude, understand what's the urgency, and understand ways to be creative and innovative. Make sure that our curriculums are able to address the gap that's there in skills, the gap that's there in tools, and the gap that's there in mindsets, so that we are able to bridge all the challenges, take care of all the challenges that are coming in the way of meeting the kind of targets we're looking for, emissions and variety of other things. So this afternoon, the session you're going to see is going to start with a talk. You're going to have fireside chats. You're going to have parallel workshops, performances from an outstanding and diverse set of experts.